Fear opens the door. Blood is gathered. Screams carry on the night wind. Souls are taken. Bones to bind. Roots dig deep and take hold. Here is the Pumpkin Lord. He grows Halloween. This is what you heard as you entered Wicked Growth Realm of the Pumpkin, the haunted house featured at Halloween Horror Nights 30. This house would act as a celebration of all things Halloween and introduce to us a future event icon in the all-powerful Pumpkin Lord. However, despite the power of the Pumpkin Lord, it would be another character who would grow from the roots of HHN lore and Wicked Growth, a cute, anxious pumpkin by the name of Lil Boo. But of course, it's not as simple as just saying Lil Boo was one of the many pumpkins that were hanging on the facade of this house. It's a lot deeper than that. And in this video, I want you to join me in telling you the story of how a random pumpkin from a past scare zone became the marketing mascot for the whole entire event. 2017, we were introduced to a scare zone that by many means was a fan favorite, and that was Trick or Treat. This zone would be based on the film by the same name, bringing to life the iconic Michael Dougherty film for the very first time. And just so have it, during the construction phase of Halloween Horror Nights 27, Universal Orlando tasked a scenic shop to sculpt a few foam pumpkins for a scare zone that would later become Trick or Treat. One of those many talented artists was Emery, and one of those pumpkins she sculpted was the one and only Lil Boo, meaning that technically speaking, Emery is the mother of Lil Boo. And according to Emery, Lil Boo was created out of her exasperation of creating already so many pumpkins for the zone, while also getting in trouble for taking a lot of time up designing many of the pumpkins in full detail. As for 2017 and the little anxious guy, Lil Boo sort of just blended into the walls at this year's event. As there were so many pumpkins on display, it was difficult for any of them to stand out in general. And just like that, HHN 27 came and went, meaning that Lil Boo was being shipped off to the Halloween Horror Nights prop warehouse. And of course, this isn't where Lil Boo became the iconic character that he is now. That didn't happen until nearly 4 years later. 2021 was the return to Halloween Horror Nights after a year-long absence due to the ongoing global pandemic. That year's Halloween Horror Nights event would mark 30 years of fears and horrors that Universal has brought through Halloween Horror Nights, which means we would receive some haunted houses that celebrated those said milestones, like HHN Icons Captured, Welcome to Scary, and Case Files. But amongst those haunted houses, there was also one haunted house that caught a lot of people's attention, and that house was the Wicked Growth Realm of the Pumpkin. And just like those houses that I mentioned a little bit earlier, Wicked Growth was also a celebration of something. It was a celebration of Halloween, bringing together a bunch of different things that you think of when it's Halloween: witches, goblins, and most importantly, pumpkins. And this is where we get back to Lil Boo. Remember how I said they put all those pumpkins in that HHN prop warehouse? Well, they brought them all back out for the facade of Wicked Growth, and for lore purposes now, we must go to August 31st, 2021, or as some people may know it, the birth of Lil Boo. Now, why August 31st, 2021? This was the team member preview for Halloween Horror Nights 31, and if you're not 100% sure on how team member preview works, it is when all of the team members, and I mean all of them, whether it's attractions, merchandise, or anything far and in between, they all go to Horror Nights or they all go to an event and experience it prior to everyone else that's going to the event. Essentially, they get to see everything before the general public. But why was team member preview of HHN 31 so special? It's because a team member by the name of the Connor Webb on Twitter decided to take a picture of a cute little pumpkin and said, "I found my favorite pumpkin, I have claimed him, and he is mine." To which the Halloween Horror Nights official Twitter account responded to his tweet by stating, "That's Lil Boo." And little did Universal know that when they sent out this tweet, they would have created a frenzy that is still going on to this very day. As just days into the event, Lil Boo had taken over. He had become a superstar, as almost every single person on social media was talking about Lil Boo in some way, shape, or form. You could not scroll through Horror Nights Twitter without seeing some kind of post of Lil Boo. It went as far as Universal having to move Lil Boo from the location that he was at on the facade to a higher spot so that no one would damage him. And up there he sat for the rest of the run for HHN 30. But with the rise in popularity of Lil Boo, Universal knew they had something big in their hands. But this leads us to think, what exactly would they do with this organic new original character? The following year, Universal Orlando would go all in on a Halloween theme for Halloween Horror Nights 31, meaning that the Pumpkin Lord would be at the helm of the event. But there's no need to fear, as Universal knew exactly what they were going to do with Lil Boo, and that was to bring him back and put him everywhere for this year's event. The event showcased Lil Boo in a manner that would make you believe that he was the icon for that year's event, as he was featured in the new Lagoon show, given tons of merchandise, and was even front and center in the Horrors of Halloween scare zone. However, we all know that this was not the case, as the event's icon was the Pumpkin Lord, and this left guests with more questions than answers when it came towards the event overall, with that big looming question of why is Lil Boo here and why should we care about Lil Boo? And guests would go on to not get a solid answer on this. However, as we approach HHN 32, we will receive even more Lil Boo merchandise, while there was little to nothing related to Lil Boo at this year's event, except for the Lil Boo's Trick or Seek scavenger hunt, which would have guests searching for Lil Boo as he was hidden within a bunch of different stores all throughout Universal Orlando Resort. While this was something different and it felt really out of place, what they did next with Lil Boo would truly leave fans divided. We are now in 2024 and Halloween Horror Nights 33 is looming just around the corner. An event in which we have what it seems to be almost everything announced and not a drop of Lil Boo is featured at the event on paper. However, if you look at the recently rethemed All Hallows Eve boutique, we see that Lil Boo will be making his presence known again at the event, as the character has returned in mannequin form and also brought a slew of new merchandise along with him, this being the thing that is dividing the fans, leaving fans happy that he's back because they love how adorable the little guy is, and also upset that he has returned again and has zero connection whatsoever to the overall event. And this is the biggest conflict a lot of people have with this character in general, and there is no one to blame besides Universal for this conflict. While truthfully, Universal and Halloween Horror Nights would have never thought that a simple tweet from 2021 would become one of their biggest marketable moves to date. And honestly, we don't know if Universal wants to take that next step with Lil Boo. Maybe they're just unsure of how people will react to Lil Boo being an icon rather than just a merchandising mascot. But really, Universal never truly knew when to turn the gear to the next level and show us what else the little guy can do outside of just placing him on merchandise and displaying him in stores. And listen, I truly do care for Lil Boo. He's one of my favorite characters that Universal has created, and I'm one of the people that'll stand on I love him on all the merchandise. But I can also see the other side of the coin of how people are annoyed at the fact that Universal have not pulled the trigger and gone all in on Lil Boo when it comes to having him featured in the event outside of just being a character that is for marketing. But hey, maybe in the near future we will have to revisit this episode and talk more about Lil Boo as we see more expansion to him rather than just having him locked away in a box in the HHN prop warehouse or him being used for only marketing. Look, people already love this character, and I believe that the most fitting way to give this character his full circle moment would be by placing him in his first ever scare zone in the same place that he made his HHN debut, Central Park. But hey, that's just a theory. A Horror Nights theory. I'm never gonna say that again. Anyways, I feel like I need to mention this. If you guys have never heard it, do me a favor and go listen to Ben Grant Music's song Lil Boo, as it is one of the funniest things I've ever heard and it is so much fun. I'll even put it as my outro song. And with that being said, if you guys liked this video and enjoyed our little history lesson, do me a huge favor and give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below how you feel about Lil Boo and how you feel about this video. Subscribe if you guys already haven't done so, and stay excellent, my dudes.
Baby, you can't be my, baby, you can't be my Lil Boo, Lil Boo, Lil Boo.